British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy on Friday in Kyiv, after he announced new military funding for Ukraine aimed at reassuring the country that the West is still providing support nearly 23 months after Russia's invasion. Jano. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak announced new military funding for Ukraine on Friday during a visit to Kyiv, aimed at reassuring the country that the West is still providing support nearly 23 months after the Russian invasion. "I am here today with one message. Britain will not waver," Sunak said. "We will support Ukraine in their darkest hours and in the better times ahead." Ukrainian officials welcomed the British announcement, taking it as evidence that Western support for their fight against its larger neighbor had not waned, as some had feared. "This is a signal to the world. Ukraine is not alone," Zelenskyy said. Sunak and Zelenskyy signed a bilateral security agreement for the next 10 years. This agreement will remain in effect until Ukraine obtains its hoped-for NATO membership, Zelenskyy said. Details of the agreement will be announced later, officials said. Kyiv has urged Western countries to send more aid like that provided by Britain, as the bitter war brings little change on the front lines and both sides turn to long-range attacks. Sunak said he made Ukraine his first foreign visit this year to send a strong signal. Support, representing the seriousness of the situation here and our determination to support Ukraine amid competition for international attention. Sunak's visit came hours after the British and U.S. militaries bombed Yemen, hitting more than a dozen sites used by the Iran-backed Houthis. Thursday's attack is a reminder of another war that has been going on for years in the Arab world's poorest country. The attack also risks sparking a wider regional conflict over Israel's war against Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Such concerns have diverted attention from Ukraine's struggles, a shift Zelenskyy has tried to counter through diplomacy. Ukraine and Russia are seeking to increase their arsenals this year. Sunak said Britain's aid was the biggest package of any country for drones, which have become a major weapon on the battlefield.
Zelenskyy has warned that Ukraine urgently needs an air defense system. Russia's recent attacks, more than 500 drones and missiles were fired between December 29th and January 2nd, according to officials in Kyiv, drained Ukraine's resources and left it vulnerable. Sunak said, Britain recognized that Ukraine's security is our security as Kyiv forces defy Putin. Today, we went further, increasing military aid, sending thousands of advanced drones, and signing a historic new security agreement to give Ukraine the guarantees it needs for the long term, Sunak said. US President Joe Biden's administration's plan to send $60 billion in new funding to Kyiv remains stalled in Congress. Europe's promise in March to provide 1 million artillery shells within 12 months also failed, with only around $300,000 delivered by the end of last year. That's all the brief information from me. Thank you. Have a good day.